So you just got your brand new cruiser board. Now what? Well, I'm going to teach you guys how to ride a cruiser board for absolute beginners. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so let's just jump straight into how I teach people how to push for their first time. So the first thing I say is you gotta figure out what is your front foot. Now this may be a game of trial and error by you. If you ride with your right in front, your left, it really doesn't matter. It's just about what's the most comfortable for you. One test you can do to figure this out quickly is you can stand somewhere really relaxed and still and have somebody shove you slightly on the back, and whichever foot you stumble forward with first is generally your front foot. This doesn't matter a whole lot when you're starting, but it's definitely nice to know if you already know what your front foot is. So usually what I do with my friends is I get them on their board. I say put your front foot on the front of the board. You always want to start your pushing with your front foot on the board first. Your back foot is going to be the one that does the pushing of the board. So get your back foot on. You want it pretty much straight forward on the nose of the board. It can be a little bit slanted, that's usually how I ride, but generally you want it straight. You want your back foot on the ground, and this is how you get your lift off. You push with your back foot, and then you put it on the board. So we're gonna demonstrate this a little bit with my hands first. So here's my front foot. I am pushing on the ground. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put my back foot on the ground, and it's gonna be facing perpendicular to the board. So my foot's gonna be like this. Once I'm on the board, I'm going to take my front foot and I'm going to turn it to match that back foot so they're both parallel to each other but perpendicular to the board, and then I'm going to ride. So that right there is essentially the motion. So once you're on the board like this, right, and you're riding forward and you want to push again, all you have to do is twist your front foot forward, step off with your back foot, give it a push, and then do the same thing. It's pretty simple once you actually get it, but trust me, it's not as easy for everybody as I make it look, and you just gotta practice a lot. Whoa. Okay, so now that we know how to do the motion, there are 3 things that I have observed while watching other people try to learn this. And those 3 things are turning your front foot, bending your knees, and confidence. Let's start with turning your front foot. So a lot of people I've noticed when they're trying to learn how to push for the very first times, they will get their front foot on the deck, pointed straight forward while they're pushing, but then once they get their back foot on, they don't turn that front foot. They just keep it pointed straight. I know it's scary to get it to turn when you're first trying to learn and stuff, but you really gotta do it. Because if you keep your front foot locked forward like that, you're gonna lose a ton of stability, and it's gonna be way more sketchy and difficult to try to keep balance doing it that way. So you gotta turn that foot. That's number 1. Number 2 is bending your knees. A lot of people are very rigid when they first start doing this, and they just have their knees completely locked. Now that's going to make your balance a little less stable, because since you already have a pretty small center of gravity from this board, keeping your body super high and super extended is going to make you more shaky. So bending your knees, keeping them bent a little bit, is going to make worlds of difference with your stability and seriously help so much. So that's number 2. Number 3 I have on my list is just confidence. So a lot of people, when they get like on a little slope or something and they're just going down a little incline and gaining any sort of speed whatsoever, they just decide to jump off and bail. And that's a terrible idea for many reasons. You know, you can get injured, hurt your knees, never want to skate again and whatnot. But I've seen it happen a lot, and it's really just a mental thing. And I mean, first of all, you shouldn't be going down huge hills anyways when you start, but you should be totally okay going down small slopes and stuff. And you just gotta be confident in yourself and be okay with gaining a little bit of speed. And I mean, if you're really struggling with this confidence, definitely wear a helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, the whole joint. I don't, because I'm not very smart in that regard, I guess, but if you're learning, you definitely should, because skateboarding, like, it's almost like a given that you're going to fall a couple times, and if you don't want to get injured, wear protection. It's that simple. Alright, now a couple things that you should just know in general about cruiser boards. Number 1, they are a little more difficult to keep your balance on than normal boards, so definitely I need you guys to practice your balance a lot. Practice just, like right now, practice just standing on one foot, just like this. Do that all the time. Just do that whenever you feel like it in your house or whatnot. And once you're comfortable balancing on one foot and sort of riding around a little bit on your board, practice riding with one foot on the board. Trust me, it makes a world of difference if you can do this. Your riding is going to be so much better. Practice, practice, practice on the balance part. The other thing you should know is that cruiser boards are very small. And because they're very small, they struggle going over large bumps and stuff in the road. So if you are coming up on a crack, not a crack like this. You see this right here, this is fine, this is just flat. But if you're coming up on a crack that like one side of it is like raised a little bit and the other is not, or it's just like a really bad sidewalk or something like that, be careful. That's what I'm gonna say. Chances are you can go over them, but there's also a high likelihood that you're gonna get thrown off the board just because cruiser boards cannot absorb as much shock as longboards and longer skateboard decks can. So keep that in mind when you're learning, and then also practice your balance. Those would be like my 2 personal tips. And you guys got this. I believe in every one of you. I think everybody can learn how to ride a cruiser board, and it just requires a lot of practice, and especially a lot of practice with your balance. With that being said, this is the end of the video. If you liked it, hit the like button for me, or maybe the subscribe button. Unfortunately, I couldn't do anything super crazy today because I pulled something in my hamstring and it freaking sucks. But it is what it is. We move. Hopefully it's gonna be good like next week because I got some pretty crazy stuff in the works. I don't want to drag you guys on with me too much further, so I'm gonna end it now. Peace out. Have a good rest of your day. Keep skating. Be awesome. Bye, guys.